strict that kaphas need about 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep. Pittas need 5 hours, and vatas need about 6 to 7 hours. So depending on what you are doing all day and what your age is and all these different factors, you change it.
So Vandana, nobody needs 8 hours of sleep, is that?
Nobody needs 8 hours. Unless you're not well, then you need your sleep to get better.
Okay. Oh, sorry, you don't have a excuse. You were doing fine.
Whereas my daughter sleeps 12 hours.
But recently we are doing a lot of stories in relation to cancer. And cancer is really big disease, and it's not, they cannot find it easily, like with the blood test or something. How Ayurveda can help cancer patients?
Well, first of all, I did work with an oncologist last month, and this is after she's an oncologist. She sees people who have cancer already, and what we did do was change the diets of her patients. People who had radiation therapy, you also see a lot of heat build up in their body because of the therapy. So when changing the diet helps them to ease the side effects of radiation therapy. Also, when we have people okay, so when you're saying who is prone to cancer, there is no answer, because it's something that starts with the mind, but also starts with something that the body has been doing while taking care of, responding to the mind. But people who have early diagnosis of cancer, who have just been diagnosed, there is also a lot of things that you can do to help them boost immunity, and their diet definitely changes. There can be diets that will boost immunity, which is a kapha balancing diet that will help to increase their kapha and immunity. But there's also the emotional side of having to see where this has started on the emotional side, and that's a whole different science.
Okay, so we have time for one more question.
There's a lot of innovation happening on the Western medicine. I know Ayurveda focuses more on the wellness and how the preventive aspect of it. But once the disease comes, what's the innovation that is going on in Ayurveda to kind of find the cures for these diseases?
Well, I just put it very simply, is that by the time a disorder or symptom shows, it's the 4th stage of disease. It's not the onset of disease. The body just whispers, there's something not working, then your body whispers, then it screams, and then that's when you head to the doctor thinking you have a disorder. It's already been 4 stages. So Ayurveda helps prevention, but once the disease or the disorder shows up and symptoms shows up, I generally don't go with the name of whatever disease there is. Whenever somebody comes to me, I just say, what do you feel? What are your symptoms? And then I find out how to balance it with the 3 doshas, with their diets. And the herbs that I use are used to support that diet, not instead of a diet. So if they don't follow the diet, then they're already, losing out on 90% of what really can help them.
So I did see a question from there, so that's going to be the last question.
So I have a question. Ayurvedic as a medicine is very organic in nature, right?
Yes.
Does it promote people to be a vegetarian, or does it have no bias if you're a non-veg versus being a veg? How does it really play in your preferences for being a vegetarian versus non-vegetarian?
Well, Ayurveda is not Hindu. Ayurveda is Ayurveda, and different people need different diets. So there's no restriction about vegetarian and non-vegetarian. The only thing Ayurveda says is to eat things in moderation. I have done this when I do the detox. I teach detox. We have had 200 people doing that over the last year, and in the US, this is the food portion. It's a heap on your plate. And after somebody does a detox, this is what makes you feel full. This is how much I eat. This is how much it makes me feel full. I don't feel deprived. I don't feel hungry. 4 hours later, I'm hungry. And I plan to eat well. So there is no restriction. and it usually depends on what work you do. This high protein diets is all a bunch of nonsense because it promotes people eating from boxes and cans, and when I have people doing the detox, there's no microwaves, no leftovers, no canned, no processed, no nothings. So people generally get back to basics, and that's the revolutionary innovation that happens with their bodies. It's to disrupt that process and pattern of eating that they have been used to and change it so that they go back to basics and eat from scratch. They start from scratch.
So we're going to do this. I was very impressed with what Vandana did with Prakash in like a minute. So I'm going to volunteer you in terms of, does anyone want to be analyzed publicly? Publicly, because we want to learn. See, it's not as though I'm trying to embarrass anyone, but because then it gives us a better sense of what you're talking about, and so then that way people can reach out to you, right? So
I would do it privately.
No, this is public.
This is most of the Indian community diabetes. Is there any?
Wait, hang on. No, hold on.
No question.
Those questions will come in the happy hour.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, that's your one-on-one. So what we again, the whole purpose of this is again to say, okay, guys, be vulnerable. Okay, it's fine. She's not going to be. You're not going to be like.
No, I believe in confidentiality, so I won't say something that will embarrass you.
Yes. So okay. Okay. So you got Shivendu, Shekhar. Okay. So we have 3 and 4. And so can you do it like in 1 minute each? And then and then what I'll do is I'll be the last volunteer because I think I'm this, and so we can all. So why don't we start with Shivendu?
Should I get up? So that
Yes.
Okay.
So
And we'll not record this. Let's turn it off.
No, you can record it.